because, for example, I take the oh, sorry. I take some time in Adobe. So this is the Adobe window. So in Adobe, you can, for example, switch your monitor in VR. So it can mimic a VR headset. So it's very interesting. I think you also experience that maybe or not. I don't know. But the editing part is very interesting. Apart technically, okay, you have to have the right tools because, for example, viewing the timeline directly on your headset is very interesting, and you can make the right decision at this moment. But it's not. I prefer speaking about storytelling at this time. For example, the shot length in VR, it's important because in VR, for example, if you do a movie for an audience, the first shot is very important, and also the first shot length is very important. The first shot length has to be longer than the other shots because it's the first shot, and so when you are in the headset, the first shot is the time you turn your head and you discover a new world. So if the first shot is 5 seconds, of course it's too short. Okay, to experience, so your first shot has to be it depends, of course, of your storytelling, but it's interesting to immerse progressively the person, the viewer. So if the first shot is, for example, aerial 360, it's interesting because you can put the shot longer and it's aerial, so it's just the person can turn his head and watch, and this is not at this point about the story, but it's just immersing. So it's So short length, and for example, editing, and for example, I edit a movie which the first shot, there is this man in the room. On the second shot, this man is outside, and the third shot, this man is in this car, for example. In VR, if you edit like flat, for example, 3 seconds inside, cut 3 seconds outside, and cut 1 second in the car, yeah, it's okay in flat. But in VR,
it's too fast.
Yeah, and also the cut. Sometimes the cut is working good, and sometimes the cut is working not so good, especially when you change the place, okay? From inside to outside. It can be disturbing for the viewer because you have to discover a place first, and you have to view the point of view, the director's point of view. He wants to show you this, so you have to discover a place, and then you have to discover a new place. So maybe, for example, fade out, fade in. Maybe it's more comfortable. Fade in, fade out. Maybe fade, because in the fade you can see the next place inside the fade. So maybe it's more comfortable. So teleportation, it's comfortable, but teleportation in cut. It's maybe it's disturbing. If you propose 10 cuts, it's maybe too. Yeah.
What do you mean when you say teleportation? It's not the button on the.
No, it's like it's just in cinematic, so passive mode. But I'm in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so I am in this place, and then I am in the lobby, and then I am outside, and then I am in the restaurant. So I teleport myself.
Yes.
I am teleported because it's not me.
Yes.
But I am teleported in the place, so it can be disturbing for some people. You know. So maybe, for example, it's if I am here, okay, and then I am in the lobby, okay. I discover my room. The door is closed, okay. I am with an actor which is there, and then I am in the lobby with the same actor, okay. Okay, maybe it will work, but if the actor, which is here, I am here, the actor is here, the actor does this and this, and then cut, and I am here, okay, it's working perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, it's simple, but you don't have to do this in flat, because in flat you're watching movies since you are a child, so you have some facilities to understand some things, and in 360, in fact, you're starting from zero, so maybe you can do some simple things to explain with the picture to the audience. Okay, so he's opening the door, so yes, maybe I'm going to be there the next shot. Yes, I am there. Okay, you understand that? Yeah. And also, of course, cut, fade, and other transitions. So maybe, for example, here I have the movie. It's interesting because you are outside, okay, and there is a box, and the box is closing, and you are inside the box, and then the box is opening 5 or 6 seconds after, and it's opening, and you are in another place. So it's like you're taking a vehicle from a place to another. In this case, in a box. So it's a transition.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's interesting to imagine. And of course, field of immersion, visualize, because in Premiere, you have your timeline. Okay. You can put your headset, and you see your timeline. You can press play in real time, and you can experiment the shot length, for example, in the headset, because the shot length, if you don't have the headset directly in your timeline, you see the shot length here, and you imagine, okay, 6, 7, it's okay. But if you put in the headset, the time is totally different. Yeah. Okay, so it's important to visualize at this time in the headset, because the VR, cinematic VR, it's for consuming in the headset and not in the desktop flat or etc. So it's important. For example, some example of things. Transitions. So it was for Arte, Antarctica expedition.
Ah. Is this your project?
So it's a journey diary. Storytelling.
Yes.
Okay. So it was interesting because
12 days of travel and
transition between the ice and the boat, etc.
So that was a fade.
Yeah, the fade with a blurry and
you're dipping to white.
The most beautiful places on Earth.
I can show you again.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry. So first long,
Yes.
because you have to see the bird
Yes.
above you. There is snow,
Yeah.
and then you are outside the boat. You see the boat.
12 days of
The boat is
travel
behind you.
and wild seas.
So the
Yes.
first
before
thing
finally
you see
reaching
this,
Antarctica.
and then you turn the head. You have the boat. And
Our
you have the sound of the
expedition
boat
is called
behind you.
Antarctica.
So
We're
you
setting
can.
out to paint a picture of one of the most beautiful places on Earth.
Okay. And of course, I just have to do this, okay. And I'm in my sofa, for example, VR180 is comfortable. I don't need and I don't want to do this in my sofa, okay. So VR180 is a thing pushed by Google. Now, for example, if you go to YouTube and you think about VR on 360, they change their. I hope this will work because I don't know the installation here, but I think yes. Tutorial project. I think I don't know if they have some movies or test VR. Okay. I have some footage. main problem actually, because non-standard. You can use Oculus Go, you can use Facebook 360, you can use YouTube VR. There is no standard. Okay, like in TV, for example, you have some standards, and in VR you have no standards. So you have to encode for each platform. For example, Arte 360, in France we have a 360 platform which is called Arte 360. You have to encode, for now, I deliver a movie for them last week, and I encode one movie in 12 different versions.
Wow.
So it's boring. And of course you have to test each version before launching it on the platform. So you have to read each version. So it can be long.
Sorry, actually, I'm not quite sure what encoding is.
So you have your movie, okay, in your Premiere timeline, okay, it's here, and you have to sort you have to masterize, to export, okay. So the problem, this is the encoding process. You have to encode your timeline in one format. Okay, so this is the encoding process. So you can use Adobe for this with Media Encoder, for example. In Media Encoder, you have some profiles for YouTube, Facebook, for example, and you have to use other encoding profiles depending of the platform. Within platform, for example, I don't know if you know within platform, which is Within.
Oh, Within.
Within is a VR 360 platform in the US. They have their standards, and Arte have their standards. So you have to encode in as many standards as you can distribute your things. So this is not very easy, because the problem is you have to encode, so to export, and you have to keep the highest quality as possible, because the problem is you have your beautiful timeline, you have your beautiful QuickTime ProRes sources, I don't know, and you have to encode this beautiful thing in you have your 8K stereoscopic, and you have to encode this for the internet, for example. So the internet, this is the internet, and this is my my master, so it's difficult. So you have to do it as highly quality as possible, and also you have to make choice between compress and quality, and it's complicated today. So that's why it's sometimes it's deceptive to watch some movies, because it's just pixel everywhere, and it's not so good. And I'm sure the master is very good, but the encoding is not quite good. It's not the fault of the production, but the problem is streaming 360, for example. It's very difficult because you have the bandwidth is very low, and your encoding has to be high for the quality, and so sometimes your film is not very good in the headset. So it's disappointing for the creators, in fact. But you have to do it. And of course, you want to be immersed. So it's difficult to be immersed when you see a movie which is streamed by the internet, because of the quality of the frame rate, etc., etc. So we need more frames, high frame rate. We need more pixels, more resolution, because I want to see the reality. So I need more pixels. High dynamic range, because I want to see a color space very, very high, etc., etc. And last but not least, volumetric capture is a interesting thing. We speak, since this morning, we speak about shooting VR with this kind of cameras. So we shot stereoscopic but not volumetric. Okay. The interesting thing is to shoot the volume. It means we can do 6DoF, full 6DoF with a movie, okay? Because we shot the volume. So we shot each pixel at each position, okay? And we can bring that footage in a game engine, for example, Unity or Unreal. And this is the real footage, but shot in volume, like 3D, in fact. So I can work and I can turn around my actor and I can. It can be possible. Now the problem is quality. Quality is quite low compared to CGI actors, for example. CGI actors are pretty good, and volumetric capture is pretty low. But in the future, I think we can do some kind of things. So have real actors captured in volumetric in a CGI environment, for example. So you can work towards, and you can work near your actor. And, it can be possible. I think between 5 and 10 future than 360 video. I don't know. The interesting thing is the sense of depth, because VR 180 is always stereoscopic. So you have the sense of depth in VR 180. Okay. For example, this is side by side VR 180, 2 eyes. So this is the professional camera. I have my little camera, which is a prosumer. And you can build. Yes. So I have to import my footage. I have some things like, for example, this. It's interesting. I create my timeline. Okay. So
Wow.
I think naturally. Whoa. It
Oh
has
wow.
to be
It's
real
playing
time.
through it's playing back through here.
Maybe.
Yes.
It has to be real time, but not very fast. Okay. Why? So if I look at my timeline, okay, so it's interesting because there like this. So you shot you make your movie in highest quality as possible. For example, 8K stereoscopic. Okay, highest quality as possible. So if you have this quality, you can do VR 360 stereoscopic, so very immersive, very quality. You can do VR 180 because you have VR 360 stereoscopic, so you can cut just to the half part and to have 180. You can do some over capture, like I told you, and you can even take a frame of flat to put it on TV, for example. So it's interesting because you have your cinematic movie and you can watch in 4 ways. So economically, it makes sense.
Okay.
For example, if you want to do a documentary about nature, about wildlife, 6DoF, 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 6DoF. So the interest in the headsets, in the future headsets, is this: less wires and more pixels. Because the problem with the good quality headsets like HTC Vive, for example, you have to bring your wallet with your PC inside, so it's expensive, and you have a wire, so you can run. You can't run; it's difficult. So this kind of headset, it's interesting because you have no wires. Or it's in the headset. You don't need smartphone or PC or etc. So the right step is this one. Okay. So this one is like the topic 360 by 180. So 360 by 180. Yes, it's the right format. So it automatically recognizes this.
Wow.
Okay. And simple tools. I can add some tools, for example, VR mask here. I can put it there. Okay. So, for example, yes, I'm in VR directly. So it's interesting. And I have my degrees. Okay, so it's interesting to see that. So it emulates my headset, in fact. Okay, so I can. It's more. So it emulates one eye of my headset. So it's interesting because. At TV. Okay, so maybe it's interesting. So yes, more audience, because the problem now is the audience. There is not enough, in fact. So if you think this way, so you can have a big audience here, very big TV, so all the people, and less big. Okay. But you have this, so maybe you can finance your movie just with this, and you can do the whole thing. I think it's interesting. And we didn't spoke much about VR 180, but it's interesting, I think, VR 180, because if you take some time to think about VR, in fact, I'm a human, so my field of view is 200, but at 200, it's difficult for me to see my hands now. For example, I see some YouTube channel of this guy. It's amazing because you have all the trainings of on Adobe, on the camera. He has all the cameras on the market, and so he can and the videos are very, very good, very interesting. If you want to have some insight for the cameras on the market, he has all the cameras on the market. You can do a lot of things. You can learn a lot of things with the YouTube channels, especially him, I think. Okay, so